are concerned about, and hopefully we will get some resolution on what we already have. Okay, this will be a meeting devoted totally to that subject, so there will be no council meeting per se. It will be a meeting for the council to meet with the public. Well, that's why I'm announcing it now. Yancy will advertise it, and it will be next Thursday evening at 7:30. Okay, we now are ready for the part of the agenda. Once again, the public comment is requested from you on agenda items. These are comments on resolutions that appear on the agenda. So if anyone would like to speak, please come to the microphone. We need your name and your address, and any comments or questions you have about agenda items.
Lucy Walker, Washington Place, Englewood. Green building strategies shall mean those strategies that minimize the impact of development on the environment and enhance the health, safety, and well-being of residents by producing durable, low-maintenance, resource-efficient housing while making optimum use of existing infrastructure and community services. That's in your document here, okay? But some of the places that are on that list, on the overlay,
Excuse me.
totally.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but these are comments on agenda items.
Wasn't this an agenda item?
The agenda items, the resolutions that follow. If you want to speak about this, you'll have time at the end, once we go through the rest of, there are only several resolutions, but this is the time to talk about those. We closed the general session
Okay.
of the public hearing.
Will we get to meet the person that you are, and this was an agenda item, will we get to meet the person that you are hiring to basically oversee making sure all of these things are?
I don't know what you mean. Which person?
The person that Mr. Wilby was asking you was going to be your relative. Are we going to get
No,
to meet him before?
We're very
you?
far, I think we're far from that right now. We're not
Okay.
doing that right now. Right now, this is the time in the meeting for public comment on agenda items on the resolutions. So I would appreciate it if you could wait until we go through these, and
Well,
then we'll
I
open up
thought
the
that was a
public session.
resolution.
Once again, I'm going to say it one more time. Does anyone have a comment on the resolutions? We have, it looks like we have 4 of them. 5.
Raymond Diaz, 408 Shannon Court. It's a non-agenda item. Is that in the same grouping?
Yes,
230?
yes.
Okay. The hiring of a grant writing consulting and disaster recovery administrative service. Is that something specific? Because I thought we already had grant
I
writers.
think the contract was over, but I'll let Mr. Hoffman answer that.
Is that your only question, Mr. Diaz?
That right now, yeah.
Yeah, the answer is yes, the contract expired with our grant writers, so this is authorization to do a competitive contract for grant
Okay.
writing for up to 5 years.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I have a question with that. So, Millennium Strategies contract's up?
It is. So we're going month to month with them until, until we do this again.
So why didn't we have in closed session a conversation about their services to us? So that we could, I just wanted to know why we didn't, the council and the governing body didn't have a conversation about the services that Millennium Strategies had provided to us. They have been, from my experience, they've been with us through IDA, through COVID, and through a number of other things, and I've never heard anything negative about them. So,
So, yeah.
so I want to make sure that, is there something I'm missing or something like that? Because we kind of know what we got. They kind of know what we need. And I thought it was a pretty good working relationship. Now, if there's something we can do at a cheaper rate, but with the quality that they've done, or if there are some issues, then we need to discuss that, I think, before we put this award here,
Yeah.
like that. That's what I'm saying. That's just my comment.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Bob.
Sure, Councilman Cobb, there is no question about the quality of the service that Millennium Strategies has provided to the city. It's been invaluable, but we want to be able to comply with the public contracts law. We have 2 different contracts with them. One was for IDA, and the other one was for their regular services. And then, so right now both contracts are put them above the bid threshold. So that's why we're doing this. They're not a professional service, so they're not one of the protected classes. So that's why we're looking at this competitive contract.
So, but we have 2 contracts, or 2 separate contracts to provide 2 separate services. Mr. Poole, how would that work for us?
Well, so as Mr. Hoffman alluded, the public contracts law exempts from public bidding professional services. There have been amendments recently that changed some of the standards for what qualified as a professional service. It used to be that the bound providers, Millennium, did not have to comply, so we would not have to go for public bidding for that. We are now required. It doesn't mean we have to change anything, doesn't mean we have to jump ship. We just have to put it out there for bidding, and even if they're not the lowest bidder, we can still elect to continue services with them if that's the case. But it is now a requirement for the public contracts law to include.
That just recently happened.
It's within, I think, the last year that it shifted. So since their contract expired, we had to move towards the proper procedure to update that.
I think that should have read that in that conversation. Should have told us to do it that way.
Okay. Does,
Because it makes it seem like something's going on.
No,
So I just
absolutely.
wanted to make sure that there was nothing going on.
okay,
If this is
thank
the
you.
law, that's fine.
Yep.
Laura?
Hi, Laura Englewood, Marlborough Road. We're commenting on the resolutions, is that right? Okay. 230A-07-11-23, resolution, amending resolution grant agreement between the City of Englewood and the State of New Jersey by and for the Department of Environmental Protection for grant. Including in that, seeking that grant money is installation of charging stations. Is that for the DPW or is that for the city?
That would be for the DPW for the 2 electric garbage trucks that we're buying. And this grant is, thank you for bringing this up. This is a good grant amendment. When we started discussions with the state about this, we had a grant for $1.3 million. The state provided the city with an additional grant of $275,000. That's what the council accepted in November. And now the state and the city was agreed to provide approximately 8% of the total cost for the purchase of the garbage trucks and the charging station. This resolution, the state has agreed that they will fund 100% of the cost for the 2 garbage trucks as well as the charging station. So what this does is it changes the amount that the city is going to contribute from 8% down to 0. So we are grateful to the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for fully funding the grant agreement. So we need to do this resolution so that we can file the grant papers with them.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some charging stations in the city for public use too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just remembered one more. Resolution for discussion, resolution authorizing the award of contract to Great Lakes Recreation, doing business as Boyce Recreation through Sourcewell National Cooperative Contract.
Yeah, that's for next week.
For me, that looks like, is there a credibility issue here? Why do you gotta use so many different names? What happened to one? I don't understand. Why didn't they just, I don't get that. Only
Well-
through personal experience, because
It
a
was
legal issue that I went through.
We belong to many buy cooperatives, and this particular contract was purchased through the buying cooperative. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, what it is this is gonna be on, this will be on for council action at the last meeting in July. But the city received grant funding to put in outdoor exercise stations, and then we're going to be fixing a playground and putting in some swing sets. What we have to do is, we need concrete to put in all of that equipment. And this is the best price that we can get for the concrete. So this is about $77,000 for the concrete work, for the pads. And when you use a national purchasing cooperative, you have to advertise it for 10 days before you can take action on it. So this is just on the as a just a public announcement that it's going to be. This is action the council will be asked to take at the next meeting, and it's for park improvements.
Okay. As long as they're legit, that's all I care.
They're always legit.
Leroy Campbell, 287 Tenafly Road. I just want to piggyback on Mr. Cobb's question to the attorney, because the attorney made the statement that even if, I think it was Millennium, is the low bidder, if they're the low bidder, they can still get the job?
If there's another reason that you are not qualified, so if there is another company that bids, and
Right.
let's say they bid for $5,
Right.
but they don't provide the same quality of services, you can still select a better qualified candidate if they're not the low bidder.
Okay, because,
You have to have other reasons. You can't just pick arbitrarily.
no, I understand that part, but I mean, you didn't explain it that way. That's why I'm up here for clarification, because, I mean, if I'm the low, if my bid's lower than your bid and you get the job, I mean, that gives me an opportunity to sue,
Yeah.
and that's what I didn't understand.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Just as a point of clarification, if I can, that's one of the reasons why we're looking to do this as a competitive contract, because we want it to be, we have an evaluation criteria, so it's price and other factors. And then there's a scale that's used so that it's the total cost, not just the front end cost.
Okay. Can I close the public comment on resolutions? Okay, hereby closed. Okay. Yes, each one separately, Charles. Okay, we're going to, this is for resolution 224.
Motion to close.
Can I have a motion to close the public discussion?
You just close it. Just say closed, and then we'll,
All right, we're closed.
I
Okay.
move resolution 224.
0711-23.
That's today's.
Yancy, want to read the title?
This is for the appointment of the Englewood Housing
hear
Authority
you.
Commissioner. Sorry. This is for the appointment of the Englewood Housing Authority Commissioner. Council President, also for the public, they did not have the name of the appointee in their packet because the council had to choose that person in closed session.
Should
So
we
if you'd
announce
like, I could, yeah.
Yes.
It would be Mr. Samuel Lee, who I believe lives at 40 Bennett Road. So that would fill in the blanks in the resolution.
Okay. So, do we have a motion?
I just moved it.
Second? I'll second. Okay, roll call.
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes, okay. 229-07-11-23. Yancy, you want to read that?
This is a thank you to First Commerce Bank for their donation.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't complete the title. Donation of $10,000 for the fireworks.
This is for the fireworks. Okay, do we have a motion?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Excuse me. Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes. Okay. number 230-07-11-23. Yancy, you want to read that?
This is the resolution of the City of Englewood authorizing the hiring of a grant writing consulting and disaster recovery administrative services through the competitive contracting process.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Do we have a second? I second. Roll call.
Councilman Cobb?
Yes.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson? Councilman Wilson?
No, I heard you. I was just thinking, but yes. I don't believe it's stated of the art, but yes.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes. All right, we have Resolution 230, A as in Apple, -07-11-23. Yancy, will you read that?
This is amending resolution number 109-03-08-23, grant agreement between the City of Englewood and the State of New Jersey by and for the Department of Environmental Protection for grant number AQ23-045.
Okay, I think that's been explained. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
Which one is this?
Charles, is that you? Okay, second? I second. Roll call.
Councilman Cobb?
Yes.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes. Resolution 230, B as in boy, -07-11-23. Yancy?
Should I read that?
Yancy,
part
would you
also?
read that, please?
Resolution honoring Newark firefighters Augusto Augie Akabu and Wayne Brooks Jr. And there was already a motion on the table.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Great. Roll call?
Councilman Cobb?
Yes.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes, was that read?
The whole resolution, no.
What we just voted on, was that read out loud?
Yes.
Just the title.
Can,
You could read it.
Oh, I can read it after the motion.
Yes.
go ahead.
Uh,
Read it out.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes.
Just find the resolution.
We're gonna ask Yancy to read the resolution that the City of Englewood will be sending to Newark in honor of their two fallen firefighters.
Thank you.
Got mixed up in all my paperwork. Yes, thank you. Okay, whereas Augusto Augie Akabu, age 49, was a member of the Newark Fire Department assigned to Engine 16 Tour 1 and served as a firefighter for over 9 years with honorable devotion, remarkable courage, exceptional professionalism, loyalty, and commitment. And whereas Wayne Brooks Jr., age 45, was also a member of the Newark Fire Department assigned to Ladder 4, Tour 1, and served as a firefighter for over 16 years, also with honorable devotion, remarkable courage, exceptional professionalism, loyalty, and commitment. And whereas on July 5th, 2023, firefighters Akabu and Brooks were part of the many brave firefighters that responded to a fire aboard a cargo ship docked at Port Newark Container Terminal and tragically lost their lives while courageously battling the blaze. And whereas the Newark Fire Department has shown great camaraderie and support to the City of Englewood with their participation in the annual Juneteenth celebration, and whereas it is appropriate to honor the sacrifices and bravery of firefighters Akabu and Brooks, who will be deeply missed by their families, friends, fellow members of the Newark Fire Department, and all firefighters. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Englewood that the City of Englewood wishes to extend its deepest condolences to the families of the fallen firefighters and the entire Newark Fire Department during this difficult time.
Thank you, Yancy.
Now, I believe we've already spoken briefly about the equipment under resolutions for discussion. Does anyone on the council have anything they want to add to what has already been said about the purchase of that equipment from the cooperative. All right. Under ordinances for discussion, we have the vacant property registration ordinance per PL 444. Bob, you want to talk about that?
This is something, I don't know, Levi, do you have any additional information on this? I left my folder at the office.
Yeah, absolutely. The legislator earlier this year amended the statute governing vacant property registration. This is codifying that in the municipal code, so that's easily accessible to any property owners within the city of Englewood. Ultimately, the intent of this revision was to give more teeth to the Vacant and Abandoned Properties Act. What it does is it allows additional fines and fees for absentee property owners, namely banks, when properties go into foreclosure, requiring them to register them with the municipality and then to also maintain those properties so they don't fall into disrepair. It also creates a registry that the municipality can track these properties in an easier fashion than what was previously accessible. The city did have a company that provided these services prior to this act, but this is a good positive step for municipalities in terms of holding these property owners' feet to the fire when they do obtain a property that they don't fall into disrepair.
Right, and the company that the city had previously went out of business, so, yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do we have a consistent timeline with this new ordinance? Like, if in fact that we are governed by somebody who's going through a foreclosure and whose property isn't kept up, and we go by complaints as well as foreclosures, what's the timeline for the city to say, hey, we've given them a quarter, 2 quarters, a year, and it's a danger or a blight to the community where the city needs to come in or hire someone to board up windows, broken windows, and/or doors?
So the ordinance requires that within 10 days of the institution of an action of foreclosure, they have to serve the municipality with a notice of that summons. So that property immediately, or within 10 days of that notice, gets put on the municipal docket for maintenance and to upkeep that. And I think it's within 30 days, I apologize, let me make sure I get the right numbers here. But there are very strict deadlines that we can enact the provisions of our zoning code for overgrown vegetation.
Yeah, well,
And the reason
sorry.
why I asked is because I know we had some stipulations in place prior to. And so I just want to make clear to those that are here and that may be watching, the different stipulation and how we as a city that are going to enforce this moving forward. Because unfortunately, some of these properties have been slipping through the loophole, and they've been a blight on our area and a danger to our kids. So I just want to make sure that we're on board with the timeline.
Yeah, you mentioned foreclosure, 10 days after foreclosure, but there are properties where people pay their taxes that are not residing in the property, but don't maintain the property.
Right.
So how does this apply?
So our zoning code still stays in full force and effect. So we can still issue a summons for a property that's not well maintained.
Okay, because we have, unfortunately, we've seen many of those.
yeah, and just as a point of reference for the council, there are some of the properties that, where people pay taxes but they haven't been maintained. There have been multiple summonses issued. We have one property where the owner has failed to appear in court 10 different times. And so we just, we are eventually getting compliance with that particular property, but we can't have somebody failing to appear 10 different times in court. That's, we need to be able to take action before that. So we're working on that.
Well, that's why I asked, because it was just stated that we have teeth now, and it seems like we're still gumming.
Yeah, ultimately, if we need to take action, we wind up having to attach a lien against the property, and that was something that the governing body was made aware of last week with one particular property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to add? If not, we'll move out to the item for discussion is Alfred Avenue, the Teaneck project. Would anyone?
We want to hear about Teaneck.
If you can't, Mr. Wilby, if you can't be respectful, please leave. That is not acceptable.
I don't care what
Is
you
there
say.
anyone, I know you don't, is there anyone on the council with any comment about the Teaneck project?
Yeah, I think we all have probably some comments about Teaneck. And my concerns are the crane that is over Decatur and Tejan Avenue. I believe that Teaneck is being disrespectful to the city of Englewood, along with their the construction company, because I believe it's a hazard. I don't care what they tell me about swinging or whatever. And that's a tower crane. You can see the crane from the turnpike, and at night it rests across Tejan Avenue, and that's breaking Englewood's, that's breaching our airspace there. And I don't know if any of the residents there could feel comfortable when they go to sleep at night. We've had some, the weather changes, anything could happen. Mr. Hoffman has been aware, and many of us have been aware that, been in contact with folks over at Teaneck, but I think we've had some discussions tonight in closed session that how, we should be proceeding. So it is attempting to be addressed that way. I heard Ms. Shears complaining about the noise. She's right, but that's not our project, unfortunately. But we have to do what we need to do for our residents in terms of that parking over there in Decatur and Tejan, it obstructs, you can't even see oncoming traffic. So there will be some things that hopefully we're gonna be doing that will help alleviate some of that. I have to tell you that we've been talking about this project for so long. The people who have been coming to meetings, and it's just unfortunate. This is what happens. They're building, and that's not the only building they're gonna build it. So their proposed cannabis stores, factories, or whatever along that way. But what's more interesting is that they want to park in Englewood, but Alfred Avenue got a nice paved road, and you don't park over there. But there's a lot of concern there, and I'm sure everybody you should be frustrated, because it's going to deal with your quality of life over here. But we're going to address it. Councilman Wilson, who's the councilman in the 4th Ward, he's on the burner for this one, so he'll be there on it. He's aware of it, and I'm sure he has some things to say about it. I'm sure he's getting a mouthful, because all of us are, rightfully so. But not fair, but we got to do what we got to do. And whatever we got to do to make it right for the people of Englewood, we just have to do. But so I understand your frustration, but trust me, we're frustrated too because of the way they're dealing with it. And they want to be partners with us in Teaneck, but I guess we're not going to play in that sandbox with them, So again, I'm just going to tell you that there's some things that have been discussed tonight. Hopefully we'll see some changes and we'll see some actions. And it's not a good time. We're frustrated. We have money to fix a street over there, Lafayette, from Tejan to Forest Avenue, and we can't do that because those cement trucks that are coming through. And it's unbelievable the amount of cement trucks that come to build a structure like this. Some people here are in construction, they understand the impact that it had, but I'm not gonna stand there and have those trucks, the guys washing the trucks out on the street, in Englewood Street. We're impacted, we got storm drains being impacted, so we gotta do what we gotta do. That's all I'll say. Excuse me? all that over there is T-Net, but I'm talking about for us, we also have money to pave Lafayette Place, all by the park and all that. We're not gonna do that because the trucks will tear that street up. So we're not gonna do that. So, we just wanna make sure that the residents of the city of Englewood are protected, and we wanna make sure that they feel safe. But I don't feel safe with that crane, because if we left here right now, that crane is across Teaching Avenue. It's a tower crane. I get it, we get it, we've all been there, so we've seen it, so,
Okay.
Understood. I'm gonna be quiet, somebody else may wanna say something here about that, but if you feel unsafe or you feel something there, you should call the city manager, or call us, whoever you wanna call, but don't not call, and make sure you tell them, this is why you feel unsafe.
Kevin?
Yes, thank you, Councilman at Large. If you don't know, you probably don't, you're not in that area or you don't travel those roads. I go by there every morning, every afternoon, every evening. I get phone calls and updates. I came by there twice before I came to the meeting, and by the grace of God, it is not hanging over in Englewood airspace. This is something that we've had continuous monitoring, whether it's PD, our zoning people, and our city manager. So, Ms. Shears, we don't take this lightly. We don't intend to be bullied by our surrounding towns. I take it a personal offense because it's in our ward, which is the 4th ward. And I refuse to let my constituents be trampled upon. And if I wasn't in this seat, I still would refuse for us to be trampled upon. So it's not overlooked. We have to fight this fight together. We have to complain. You have to make phone calls when appropriate. There's a certain work hour schedule that they should adhere to, and if they are not doing so, please call me. This is a huge red flag for us. What I haven't discussed was that if this crane company is ABC Crane Company, we should never allow them, if we can, to do any business in Englewood. If we're disrespected in such a manner that they don't feel it appropriate to swing that in or call somebody in for overtime to reposition that, because had it fell, they would have had to call people in. And I think that's the same attitude we should address people who are disregarding the quality of life for people in Englewood. It should not happen, and we shall continue to fight that fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, unless, yes?
Thank you. Council President, just one more piece of information. If down there have been times when the contractor has attempted to close the road, and they are not allowed to close the road. One of those attempts was today. So the police were there to make sure that the road stayed open, but they had tried to do that in the past, and they were not allowed to do that. So, if you see something like that, please call the police. Just call dispatch and let them know so that an officer can go over there.
Also, Ms. Marin, if they can just look, if there's a breach of our crane ordinance that we put forward last year, took over a year to get that forward, and if they're not going through protocols and they're bringing cranes over our airspace or into the city of Englewood, as Mr. Wilson said, there's no reason that we should continue to allow them to do business, and if there are fines, they should be exacted.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we're now going to look at the resolution number 231
We were going to add another item for discussion. We spoke.
You want to, okay.
Yes.
The other item for discussion would be the bathrooms in the recreation areas. Would you like to?
The outdoor bathrooms in the parks. Do you want to speak to it, Mr. Wilson?
Need a motion and second to add.
You gotta add this to the resolution.
Right.
Yeah, we have to add it. So I'll make a motion that we add this as an item of discussion.
Second.
Want to have a roll call?
Councilman Kopp?
Yes.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes. Okay, Lisa, would you like?
Councilman Wilson, we'll discuss it. I can.
Thank you.
You want me to?
No.
Councilman Wilson and I went around one day. We looked at we opened up all the outdoor bathrooms. We took a look at it. We're both, we're getting. I think this is the first year that I remember that the outdoor bathrooms aren't open. There are a lot of recreational activities going on. People are very unhappy. The players are unhappy, the parents are unhappy, the coaches are unhappy, the residents are unhappy, and there are porta potties in all the bathrooms. And so we wanted to discuss getting the outdoor bathrooms open. I mean, obviously, part of the summer is already started, but there's going to be more activities in the summer. There are going to be fall activities. Councilman Wilson, did you want to add anything?
Yes. I've had these discussions before. It's a concern of mine, of the upkeep of our city. And if in fact we were under a new charter and we didn't have certain facilities and we lived near farmland, I would understand the predicament we might be in. But to subject our residents, our seniors, our youth to porta-johns does not seem appropriate for a city of our status. I would like to see us to be able to use and monitor and keep our own restrooms, if you will, open during the seasons of softball, baseball, football, pool season.
Pickleball.
You can't forget about pickleball. Summer camps, swimming pools. I think we can maintain a different outlook if in fact we move forward on this. These restrooms have changing room capabilities. I've been getting several phone calls in regards to that. I had a conversation with our city manager. He is aware. We're moving forward to get proper cleaning conditions available for these bathrooms. And I am trusting in the city manager that he is going to do a diligent job on satisfying these complaints that we have in regards to the restrooms being open. And in the meantime, I will ask that you bear with us as briefly as possible for the usage of these porta-johns. This is something that we don't want to be a consistency, and we're working hopefully diligently for this to be reconciled.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Point of
ahead.
order? Did you want to go first?
I just want to make a recommendation, so if you want to go,
Okay,
then I will.
it's up to you.
So, I talked to Councilman Wilson today about the issue. And what I'd like to recommend, and what I think would be the solution or resolution to that, is that we have people who work, that we have contracts with, that clean the bathrooms and facilities throughout the city. And we should just add those places there on that contract. So therefore, we're not taking from our resources, our daily resources, them clean, those people who clean the bathrooms in the city hall, who clean the bathrooms in the library, that whole contract that we have, amend that contract and put the parks on there that have the bathrooms, so that they would do that, because that's what they do. So it just makes it easier for us, so we don't have to pull resources from DPW, we don't have to pull resources from the park, rangers and things of that nature, and put them on the schedule. These people are used to doing that kind of work. They're good at it, so you just put them on the schedule and have them do it. Then you can open up your bathrooms, and then we don't have to have the porta potties. Because you don't, the concern with the porta potties is, if you don't close them at night, what happens? They get vandalized, they get used, so you're exposed. You have a risk factor there with that. So, and the fact is that we have the Sun Fun Camp and all these other activities there. If we have those people come, we can just open them up. When they come 7 o'clock in the morning, when they close them, they clean them. So every day we have somebody who's monitoring that, number one. And number two, we have a contractor that we can hold accountable for that job. You know, so I believe that's the quick fix. You just sit down with them and say, take those resources and have them go over there to these places, walk them through it and tell them this is what you'd like to see happen.
Okay. Yep. Well, thanks. Actually, that is sort of what we are doing, or sort of what we're doing. We're out to bid right now for cleaning services, and we amended the contract to add all of our rec bathrooms. So the bid is going to be opened on August 2nd. We do have quotes from them. We have to identify some funds so that we can have them do cleaning in the interim. But but again, we're going to be opening the bids in early August on this, and it is for it's for the bathrooms in the parks.
Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Okay, can we move on now to bills and claims? This is resolution number 231-07-11-23. Nancy, you want to read the title? You want me to?
I have moved to the next page, sorry.
Okay,
This is
approved payments of bills and claims. Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Charles, second.
Second. I got a question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Kaufman, on page 6, under capital improvements, I see 144,614 twice. Is that right?
Yeah, we had two dump trucks.
Yeah, those are two of the tandem trucks that the council had approved in
How come
capital works.
how come it doesn't read that way? It says accessory body accessory. How am I don't know what that means to me. I'm sure they don't know what it means, because I don't know. I mean, it says we purchased 2 dump trucks?
Yes.
Or did we repair 2 dump?
No, this is yeah.
Okay, so can we just, it says item description, purchase of a dump truck. Helpful? I think that'll make it easy, because I don't know what that means. Am I wrong in saying that? Huh? Is that wrong?
No, it's just, it's the way it was coded, but I went down and took a look, and we have two brand new white dump trucks. This is.
No, I get it, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, it doesn't say that there. I wouldn't even know what that means. All I'm saying is it just I think it would make everybody's life a lot easier if we have that. But just speaking, can we go to page 3? Yeah, so probably halfway down, we got cleaning 6 buildings, May and June, 16,100, and then we have cleaning services, $4,625, so it's about $20,000 in about a 2-month span cleaning. Is that about right?
Yes.
How much
Well,
do you spend about a month?
The $8,000 is the contract. Well, we had the bid. We had a contract with a different vendor.
Somebody new?
We had a contract with a different vendor, and they weren't doing the job that they were supposed to be doing. So, as the city manager said, we're having an opening of the bid next month, but from when we got rid of the old vendor, and to this, we're using them. They're our old vendor that we had before, yeah.
These are the new vendors.
Yes,
Well, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, so that's the monthly amount, 16,001, and the 4625 is an extra deep cleaning that we needed them to do.
Yeah.
So it's about, so what are we averaging about, 4,000, 5,000 a month?
We're actually averaging closer to 8,000 a month. So we're, and when we add the parks and stuff, it'll be more. But part of this was, we declared a health emergency because the other company did such a poor job. Our bathrooms hadn't been cleaned well in a long time. So we wound up doing a deep cleaning of all of the bathrooms in all of our buildings where we have employees and are open to the public. And it's kind of funny. We received emails from some of our staff members saying they thought that the bathrooms had been redone because they were just they didn't realize there was. Yeah. So that's what we're working towards with all of our stuff.
On that,
Okay, and any other questions on the bills list?
I do, on
Go
that,
ahead.
on that same topic. That seems to be a little excessive for me. And I don't know, for us not to be able to monitor it better, that if they're doing such a poor job, hopefully as we're moving forward and we're looking at this new contract in August, or putting out bids in August, that we put some type of stipulation in that I've got a real problem with contractors coming in Englewood and just thinking that we're a soft touch, and they can do this, and we continue to pay them.
But no, this is the new vendor.
This is the new vendor because we had the old vendor that wasn't doing their job.
Yes, correct.
And that's what I'm alluding to. You know what I mean? We would have never had to have this vendor had we had some checkpoints where we had this old vendor for so long. So all I'm asking is that as we move forward, that we have some better type of checkpoints.
And Councilman, you're correct, and we had good checkpoints because the company that we got rid of, we refused to pay. They were a new vendor, and they did such a poor job that we did not pay them for their services because they just came in, they basically came in, they came in, they grabbed some garbage, and they left. They didn't do the work that was in the bid specs.
And thank you for that, because that's what I needed to hear, so I could relay that to my constituents, so they're aware of what's going on, that we're not just an easy touch, and we're not just paying out money where jobs aren't being done.
Yeah.
Great.
I'd be willing to volunteer my time to make sure.
Does anyone else have any comment on the bills? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second. We moved and seconded already.
Let's have a roll call, please.
Councilman Cobb?
Yes.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wasatski?
Yes.
Council President Marin?
Yes. All right, we're now going to be moving into our public session. Speakers can speak on any subject they want. Let's have your name, your address. You have 3 minutes.
Amy Bullock, Howland Avenue. I'm glad you talked about these bathrooms tonight. My daughter participates in the POP program, which utilizes the Englewood City pools that my tax dollars help subsidize. And when they arrived at McKay Park, she was not allowed, the children, all of them, were not allowed to go into the bathrooms to change their clothes and had to change their clothes in a van.
In a where?
A van. Because they did not have access to the bathrooms. And they were instructed that they could use the porta potties. So you want 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds trying to maneuver themselves in a porta potty to change into and out of swimsuits. That's not how we live. Now let me tell you what else is a problem with this situation. Those bathrooms were open during hockey season. Those bathrooms were open at the movie night that the police sponsored. But the bathrooms were not open at Metro's open store. They were not open yesterday or today for the children of Sun Fun Camp. And it is appearing to me that the facilities are not accessible to the residents who live in the 3rd and 4th Ward, which you refer to as underserved community members in your grant application. Now, I don't know what we're doing here, but the expectation is that as a taxpayer, I have access to facilities for me, my child, every other child, grandmother, parent, cousin, sister, brother, to be able to relieve themselves in a respectful and clean and decent manner. Maneuvering in a porta potty for a child is not easy. It's not easy for women as adults, because we don't have to just stand up. They don't have the ability to wash their hands, so we're spreading salmonella and COVID. Like, what are we doing here? We deserve more than this. And everyone should be ashamed of the fact that I have to stand up here and be upset because my child is subjected to this. It's disgusting. And a bid going out on August 2nd, that's halfway through the summer. The bathrooms need to be cleaned tomorrow and opened before the end of this week. And I have no problem making a real issue of the 3rd and 4th Ward residents who use those facilities that you refer to as underserved being denied access to facilities. I will write an op-ed. Michael can tell you. The mayor can tell you. I ain't got no problem with doing that. I've done it before. Lastly, quickly, Councilwoman Marin, you need to take accountability for the fact that this council leadership has created this problem with fair share housing. Maybe not you personally, maybe before your term, maybe before yours, maybe before yours. But the leadership and their lack of being diligent in dealing with these developers has created this problem. Councilman Rosenzweig throwing Liberty School at us saying, oh, well, you know, we had to do this because they wanted Liberty School. It's insulting, it's demeaning, it's patronizing, unacceptable. You guys work for us. So if we have a concern, you have an obligation to respond to that concern. If I don't have bathrooms open by the end of this week for my child and all the other children in that camp, I'm telling you, I'm going to the Bergen Record, I'm going to the Bergen County, I'm going everywhere I need to go to talk about how these black and brown children are being denied access to facilities.
Thank you.
Lynn James. I am at Matt Lodge Place. I came to talk about my street, 87 Matt Lodge, but I would like to piggyback off of what she just said. I think it's appalling that children have to do that. Like, I'm a leader in the city, in the Bronx, in a small middle school, and after hearing her, I would be outraged that my children would have to use the bathroom anywhere else. I mean, just appalling, and it's very sad. And it's always black and brown children. Like, when are we gonna do better by our children? So I'm hoping that those bathrooms are clean by the end of the week as well, too. Thank you for the sign that was placed on my street in the last couple of weeks. Thank you for the do not block sign that was also put up on that corner. I do have a picture here because one of the things I didn't talk about the last time was still the parking situation in front of my home. Again, when we are backing out in the complex, the townhouse complex, we cannot back out if people are parked directly there. So we're asking that either a yellow line be placed, like we have seen in several of the other streets. For instance, on Liberty Avenue between Tryon and Knickerbocker, there are some homes that have yellow strips on the sidewalk where people cannot park. I am asking for that too. And after hearing the conversation around all of these units that are going up and people from all over coming into our neighborhood, that also will impact who's parking in front of my house. And so it does create a dangerous situation for us as we are backing out of our driveways. So I'm asking, and I have this picture here, to show where we would like to have the yellow signs placed so that there's no parking on that side, so I can safely back in and out of my driveway without worrying about incoming traffic from Englewood Avenue. Thank you.
Laura Vogel, 318 Marlborough Road. Excuse me. First, I want to thank Councilman Cobb. When you were president of the council, and I came here with the complaints about the accidents on the corner of Hudson and Knickerbocker, and how horrendous those accidents were, including my own. And I remember when I brought that issue up, and you immediately said to Franz, Franz, this is a priority. I want you to take care of it. It took a while, but the street lights are up. They're not on yet, but they're up. And I know it took a long time. We had to deal with the county because it was a county road. So I really want to thank you. I want to thank you for that. And it's about, if anything that's important here as a council member is safety of the people. So I want to thank you for initially getting that all started. Thank you. A question about this overlay map. I had gotten a copy of it from Peter. It's very out of focus. I can't read the streets. Is there a copy of that available on the website? And it's clear, you can actually read the streets? I hope so, because boy, that's necessary. I have to read where the streets are. And it would be nice that that is available, that people know tomorrow when they attend the meeting. Also, the Zoom meeting. I know, Mayor Wilds, you said that, that it was be available to people to see on Zoom. I know so many people who can't do Zoom. They don't do Zoom. They just freak out every time you put on the computer, whatever. That eliminates an awful lot of people. Where are you guys meeting tomorrow? Here?
Zoom.
Yeah, but physically. Oh, you will all be on Zoom. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's a problem. I think it's not the same experience for us at all, and I'm sure it isn't for you, but certainly not for us. I mean, it's about body language, it's about seeing how somebody responds, it's about sitting with your neighbors and talking about it together. So I really think that this Zoom stuff has to stop. And you appoint this planning board. Tell people, if you can't be available for meetings, I'll take you off the planning board. How about it? Please, no more of that. I want to come to meetings. Thank you. Okay.
Laura, thank
Overlay map available. Okay, that was my questions. Thank you and good night.
I guess my question is for Mr. Hoffman. I'm looking at the equipment for DPW, the 2 trucks. When you look at this report, it looks like you purchased 2 trucks from Cliffside Body.
Could be, yeah.
You purchased 2 trucks, or did you have the body work done at Cliffside Body?
We purchased 2 dump trucks. They've been delivered to the DPW. I'm not sure if the whole truck was purchased from Cliffside Body or not. I don't have access to the.
Okay,
to the
because on this
screens.
report, it looks like you paid Cliffside Body, which is in Fairview, and they do body work, mainly body work. I've never known them to sell equipment. I mean, trucks. I've always known them to do body work, but when you look at this report, it looks like we paid $144,000 to Cliffside Body, and I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, well, we did purchase 2 trucks, and the total price.
Normally what happens is that you purchase the equipment, and then you have it transported to Cliffside Body to have the body work done, whether it's a dump body, or flatbed body, or whatever the type of body that you ask them to install. That's usually what the process is. And this report should show that what we paid for the trucks, and also should show what we paid for the access, which would be the body and whatever other other parts you wish to have installed. so people will get a better understanding of how this was done. Because right now, it looks like we just paid $144,000 twice to Cliffside Body, when I think we actually paid the manufacturer of the equipment and then Cliffside Body.
Yeah, there's, in the electronic system, when it's, all of that information is attached to it, so that it gives you the breakdown, but.
Right, but I mean,
But,
this is telling me something totally different, though.
well, yeah, that's just a roll-up for all of the
Right.
documents that
This is-
that are
well,
behind the reports.
You know, as a taxpayer, I think when we get information, I think we should get it correctly so we'll understand, especially somebody like myself who've been working in this type of industry for over 40 years. The other thing is, can you please send someone by 301 Tenafly Road tomorrow to take a look at that property? It's overgrown. I think the owner passed away, and I don't think anything was really done there since he passed away.
I think they boarded up the windows.
I'm talking about the landscaping. I'm not
Yeah,
talking
you're
about the windows.
absolutely right.
Yeah,
I
I'm talking about the
noticed it.
landscaping.
Yeah, I saw it
And the other
today.
thing is, I come to these meetings, I sit, I listen, I observe, and you guys are just going at each other. Like tonight, I don't think it was anything wrong with what the mayor was saying, but you interrupt him, Judy, and said that, you said to him, don't make it seem like none of you were doing anything. I didn't get that impression that he was insinuating that none of you were doing anything. I think it was just he was trying to get a point across to help. And you guys got to stop going at each other. I mean, we vote you in to serve, but you guys do more bickering and fighting than serving. You gotta work together. You as a council and we as residents, we gotta work together, or nothing is going to get done. And I say this all the time, and it sounds like it's going on deaf ear, but nothing is going to get done if the council can't work with the people and the people can't work with the council. Thank you.
Is this one on? Oh. Hello, my name's Divinity. I live on Elmore Avenue. I'm here to voice my concerns as well as my neighbors' concerns about the parking on Elmore Avenue, as well as the excessive and abusive amount of ticketing that is going on. We're forced to park on one side of the street, and we don't have enough space for the residents that live there. On top of that, the residents that live in the Evo apartment are taking up the one side of the street that we do have. I did also notice that the Evo apartments, the residents are able to park on both sides of the street, and they're able to park overnight. Whereas on the further down side, where residents have lived here for 20+ years, we're not allowed to park on the right side of the street overnight, which forces us to be ticketed. When I come home late from work and I have my child with me, am I supposed to park a mile away and then walk to my house at night? Do you guys have some type of like resolution or anything that you could give to the community so that we would be able to park our cars without being ticketed? And I also have a petition here because my neighbors are also concerned about the amount of tickets that they're receiving.
We'll have to find out about that.
Yeah, if you want, I'll just.
What does that mean?
It means we don't have the information now. All we're hearing is what you're presenting.
We
Right.
have some of
If
the
I
information,
can.
Oh,
because
we do?
we're all
Oh,
aware
sorry.
about
Okay.
the parking
Yeah,
situation.
can we have a copy of the petition?
Sure.
Okay.
Can you make a copy of it so that I can have the original, or
Yeah, we
you
can.
want to keep the original?
Yeah, after the meeting, I'll give you my card, and you can email it to me if you want, or I can make a copy and send it back to you.
Okay. Do you want me to hand it to you?
Sure. And just so that everybody knows, thank you, Anil. We have received, we've had problems where there's been parking on both sides of Elmore Avenue, and there's been line of sight problems. There's been problems getting ambulances in or fire trucks if need be. And there's only supposed to be parking on one side of the street. And we've had requests from other residents that we enforce the parking rules. So we've done observations, we reposted signs, there was notices that were put up, just that we were going to start enforcement parking ordinances that are in place, and then we did start that. So.
My question is, and I see, Judy, you were very quick to dismiss me, while I thank you two gentlemen for taking the time to
No,
address
I
my
told you
concerns
to
and my
try-
questions.
I told you I
And
didn't know
I'm
about
talking.
it.
That's very rude. And to take my petition. However, I'm still not understanding why the Evo side of Elmore Avenue can park from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m., but we can't.
We're working on it.
7 a.m.
My name is Peter Rodan. I'm from Elmore as well. This is actually my wife. I'm here. I know it's 11:30 at night. We're all tired. We're here because we just keep getting tickets. And I spoke to the police. I told them, I'm like, what is your resolution? There's no parking here. You guys build apartments at the end of our block, and they're still on our parking. So what could we do? As I said, is my wife supposed to walk a mile away at night and hopefully get home safe, you know, and then hope that we don't get a ticket wherever we parked? We talked to the police, and they have no resolutions. They don't even care. It's like they're ticket frenzy for us. My thing is, I didn't know what to expect coming here. And then I'm looking behind me. This gentleman said it. I don't even think a majority of you are even from this city. I love this city. You understand? So this like really hurts me that I'm even up here spending hours, as you all are, trying to get something resolved for my city. You guys are building more buildings, and I feel like this problem is going to be everywhere in Englewood. The cops are telling us, oh yeah, just find parking somewhere else. My whole thing is, if we in Elmore, which is a dead end, go to another 2-3 blocks away to park, then that same situation is going to happen at that block. They're not going to have parking, and then this is going to be all over Englewood, especially with more buildings being built up. I don't understand what's going on. It makes no sense to me. You know, I understand what you're saying in regards to the hazard of the double parking at Elmore, but from what I've seen, I walked that street, why don't they open up the gate, which was forcibly broken? Why don't they build some parking there, provide us with some parking? That's a solution. There's also an empty lot there that's maintained by the city, but it's just closed off. There's just trees there between two houses in the middle of the block. They could build some parking spaces there, and at least that'll alleviate the issue. But nobody talks about that. I bring this point to police, like, could you guys at least help us with this? But they don't care. They just want to give us tickets. So that's my 2 points to this. Hopefully we could get that to a resolution, because, like I said, we're just getting tickets every day. This is what we're living with. I've been in the city all my life, basically. So I think it's just getting worse. You understand? With all the people that's coming in here. And to see again, I'm talking to people, but I don't even know if you guys care about me or my people. I don't know if something's gonna get done. You understand? So that really hurts me. I hope you all have a good night, and I'm sorry, and I say this respectfully as I can. Because, as she said, we have a petition. We went up to all of my neighbors to talk to them. Everybody, people have been on my block for 30 plus years. And you know what? They said they've seen this problem get especially worse now they see the gentrification coming through. It's getting especially worse. It's going to get worse with this gentleman saying that they're going to build even more buildings. This is going to be all over Englewood, not just my dead-end street that is forgotten and not cared about. So I just want to bring that, and I hope you all have a good night. All right?
Thank you. Judith, if I may. Just briefly, Mr. Hoffman. I'm trying to understand, when police officers give out tickets, they obviously check the registration, or they have the ability to check the registration. This isn't parking enforcement. These are sworn peace officers. And if they see somebody living on Elmore who's registered to a vehicle, and it's because of Evo's overflow, I'm not trying to call this out. I think Peter and Divinity's comments were well taken, and taking the presence of mind and time and getting a petition means we have to kind of look at this. Evo should be responsible for their own parking, and Elmore shouldn't have to pay for it. And a police officer shouldn't be giving tickets out to residents on a block after working a long day, particularly a female that has to walk home once it's dark on a dead-end street. So I trust that this will be resolved as quickly as possible, and if there is property or a lot, that will be made to be used immediately. We always had this debate about stickers and decals and giving priority. Now we have residents pitted against residents, and I don't think it's appropriate just to give out tickets for what it's worth.
Okay. Just as a point of reference, the city had not been enforcing its parking ordinance for a long time, and we did have several complaints about that. We will look to see what the solutions are, but we have to make sure that we're impartial in what we're doing. But this also goes back to the need we have to look at the parking all over the city, and that's why we're going to be engaging a planner to just take a look at, do that holistic look and help come up with solutions. Thank you.
All right, Rick Wilby, Englewood, New Jersey. This is all, I want to tell the brother and sister over here, this is all problem, reaction, solution. I've been coming here for years talking about the gentrification, and not so nicely and not so respectfully, because the people that I've had to so-called attack, they have systematically destroyed the place where I once called home. So the brother understands gentrification. When that stupid building was built and we was here fighting against it, they said we have parking for everybody and everything, it would not be a problem. So all the idiots that approved that building, and they even built more units. At one point, it's supposed to be a certain amount of units. Then they increased it and built more units. So the Koreans got their money, everybody got their money, and the neighborhood got screwed. And this is what happened. So it wasn't even supposed to be built there because the Massa's plan said they were supposed to maintain the characteristics of the neighborhood, which they didn't. And now Massa is going to have to build all over the town because that's what y'all do. Now I want to talk about this ordinance, this resolution rather, where you're honoring these firefighters. It's a good thing to honor firefighters and all public servants or whatever, right? But Bernard died in September, okay, 2022, okay? Why hasn't this council even put a resolution on the table to even recognize the fact of what happened to this young brother? Nothing whatsoever has been done. This mother comes here to every meeting to listen to all this horse shit about other stuff, and nothing is being done. We understand the Attorney General is dragging his feet, and more than likely, who knows what's going to happen. You see, Judy, you don't really understand what it's like to be in this skin. I know you can't even relate with your small liberal mind. You don't even know what black people have gone through, what they continue to go through. It's not that I dislike you. It's the simple fact that I see through you, because you are the same as you've ever been since the day the daughters of the Confederates preserved white supremacy for all the racists in the North and in the South. You're the same type A daughter of Confederacy type. This is what you are. And it's not, people in the audience, they haven't missed that fact. So forget about the fact that you think somebody has this personal agenda against you, is attacking you. Ask Charles Cobb. I've attacked him, right, Charles? Talk to Wayne Hamer. I've attacked him. Talk to Michael Wiles. I've attacked him too. Talk to Kevin Wilson, okay? Talk to the previous city managers and see if some of them retired early. Ed Hines ran out of here. You understand? Forget it. Joel Thompson Chin? Okay, who else? Who was that guy? The guy, Dacey. Yeah. He ran out of here too, Jude. It's nothing personal. And after you leave, how much longer we got, me and you? After you leave, maybe we could go to Starbucks and have coffee. You'll really understand who Rick Wilby is. I'm a guy that hates injustice. And I'm a guy that hates smog, racist people that can't come to terms with what they are. You see, I understand racism, but I know bigotry as well. You have a good night.
Okay, Al Trusty, 33 Florence Street. Let's see. Mr. Hoffman, we have the truck to clean out the drains. Is that correct?
Yes.
We have them. Okay, when are we going to get them out there? Because the guy came to assess the drains.
It's not a question and answer.
Yeah, you're right.
He came to assess the drains. one guy by himself in the truck. He can't do it by himself, so you're gonna need some more help. You know? So this is what I'm talking about. So basically, I would like to know when we're gonna clean out the drains, because I have to commend, Officer De La Rosa, because he came around my block to address parking around there, okay? Because people were getting tickets, they don't know, they can't read the signs or understand what the signs are. So he came around there and walked through it with me, talked to a couple of my neighbors, and I know he's listening, so thank you, officer, because people were getting tickets and it was just out of hand. So I'd like to know when we're gonna move forward, because we just missed some flooding around here. You know, other places right here in Jersey got it. We didn't get it. So I would like to clean these drains out just as fast as we can, so we can avoid it on Florence Street and all the other streets over there, because that's what we need to do. So, and another thing is, Councilman Cobb came around, gentlemen on Harness Street, there they are. See? I just happened to be coming back from the store, passed by, saw Councilman Cobb, went to their house, spoke to this man. This man said that nobody came there except Councilman Cobb to see about what he talked about for the last 2 meetings. 2 meetings. And he was over there speaking to this man and said, nobody came, nobody. You gotta do something about parking. See, they have a problem with it right now. See, we have a problem with parking here. See, other towns, you know, you can get parking stickers and you can park there. If you pay or whatever, and we Weehawken, you can't even park there unless you're a resident. Then you can park there. Other than that, no. So, I mean, we gotta do something about parking, because people continue to get tickets and they can't afford it. So we have to do something about parking. People can't park in front of their houses, cannot do any of that. So if we eliminate no parking on the block, now you got a problem. Because now if people don't have a driveway, you can't park there. So we got to do something about parking here. We have to address the situation as much as possible. You know, Kevin, we was talking, I wanted to talk to you about that too, because these people have a real problem. Because tractor trailers come and just park right there in front of the house, so pass by there. And these people can't park in front of their place. They cannot. She's got a little baby. What's she gonna do? She's scared at night. Thank you.
Lucy Walker, still Washington Place, Englewood. I'd like to address the empty lot on Elmore Avenue. That is not just an empty city lot. That is part of McKay Park. There are deed restrictions on that property. As a matter of fact, one of the deed restrictions is that it is supposed to remain into perpetuity an entranceway into McKay Park. It was given to the park in the city of Englewood by the son and daughter of McKay as an entranceway into the park from Elmore Avenue. So you cannot, but Englewood is always messing with deed restrictions, but at this point, you cannot use that as a parking lot. As a matter of fact, one of the things in the Fourth Ward that we are addressing is the fact that the entrances into McKay Park from the west side of the city have been systematically removed. And that is one of them. That bridge, that walking bridge there, has been removed and should be replaced. If you read the deed restriction, it says that it can never be not an entrance into McKay Park. And right now, the gate is closed and you cannot enter McKay Park from that. So no parking there.
Thank you. I have a letter that was left with us to be read. Oh, you want to speak first, and then I'll read the letter.
Joseph Hoyle, Elmore Avenue, Englewood. I'm a homeowner on Elmore Avenue, and I lived on Elmore Avenue for over 27 years. And this parking issue has become a really hot button topic in the past 3 years. There was a study done by the police department, even with the signs on the west side of the street, that read no parking. There was a study done by the police to see how the emergency services could get down the block. And if there was a fire, would we be able to get our jacks down to affect the rescue to the second floor, any of those residents on Elmore Avenue? And it wasn't possible. And that's when the enforcement really started. However, Evo, when they opened up, it compounded the problem. And I do sympathize with the residents on the block that have no place to park. I really do. It's not like I'm saying I was here first and I could park wherever I want. That's not what I'm saying to them. And I would never say that. But Elmore Avenue does have quite a number of two-family, three-family homes there. And they rent them out. Some of them are rented out. I think maybe one of the approaches might be to reason with the owners of the homes to allow some of the tenants to use the driveway areas. I don't know if that'll work, but I'm just saying that that is an option. And Ms. Walker is absolutely right. That partial land on the east side of Elmore Avenue in the middle of the block, that is part of McKay Park, and it was deeded to the city for park use, not for a parking lot for tenants on Elmore Avenue. So I understand that too. And at the end of the block where you have the gate was supposed to be locked after park hours. It's supposed to be open during park hours, but the park ranger was supposed to control that opening and closing of the gate. And there was a petition on the block to do that as well, to open and close the gate during park hours. And as it relates to the park, the petition, the park, no one knocked on my door about a petition. Okay, all right, I missed that. Okay, all right, I missed that. But no, I don't want to sign the petition because I don't want to come here as a member of the fire department, but I know how difficult it is getting down that street. And I have issues just driving my car down the street. So I don't want to go back and forth with you. That's not why I'm here. Like I said, I sympathize about the parking situation, but it's just probably an issue that could be addressed. Maybe if we got the homeowners together, that I don't know if you own a home or if you rent on the block. I don't know. But I know that there's a lot of two-family homes on the block, and they have tenants, and some of the tenants may have 2, 3 cars. Maybe the homeowner has 3
Mr.
cars.
Hoyle, could you please
So maybe
face
there's
the-
not room. But we could talk about it outside, but I do sympathize with you about the parking thing.
excuse me.
But it's just
Are
really,
you addressing
it's
the
really
council? Mr. Hoyle, I believe
yes.
you have to address us.
yes, the parking situation is
We
really,
got it. We
all right,
have-
I'm addressing you now, though.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I
The-
really appreciate it.
Okay, but the parking situation on the block is really a safety issue.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
heard
safety
you, and
issue.
we appreciate
And-
what you said.
And as a young lady came earlier, she was talking about the yellow line on the curb backing out of her home. And that's an issue. If there's cars parked on the other side of the street, you can't get out of your driveway.
We
All right,
appreciate it.
that's all I have.
I just want to read a letter that was left with us to be added to the record. It's from Mr. Satterfield, who lives at 251 South Dean Street. I beg your pardon? They're here.
Can't be out there talking.
This letter is to inform the city council of some concerns I have. All parks in Englewood need a lot of improvement. A gazebo would be nice at Depot Square. It would be a benefit to the community. The medians on Palisade Avenue need to have a better look. I have noticed drains on the lower part of town are clogged. I would like to know when this will be addressed. I have brought this to the attention of the city council and contacted DPW and the engineering department. There are no recycle containers around town. Evergreen and Rita's have heavy foot traffic and require at least a trash can outside these stores. We need to see more police on foot and not in patrol cars. I still believe with more police presence, this would help businesses and make people feel safe and secure. And it's signed by Mr. Satterfield. We said we would read this, and I did. All right? The public portion of the meeting is now adjourned. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Second? All in favor? That's it. Good night, everyone.
And tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
No, I'll be home for that. They go to bed early still, so.